On, guys. Today I will be doing an interview with Brock Miller. He is a former punter of the uh, Los Angeles Rams, and he is currently a member of the Seattle Dragons as a punter uh, on their roster. So he is the Seattle Dragons punter as of right now. I'm going to give him a ring here in a second. I just want to go ahead and say thank you to Game Changer Sports Network for bringing us on Talking Interference Sports. We've been here for a little bit. If you guys haven't checked out Talking Interference Sports before, go check out our page. And if you're watching us elsewhere, go check out Game Changer Sports Network and Talking Interference Sports. Great guys, great stuff going on here. And again, we are about to be joined by a former punter of the Los Angeles Rams. He is currently on the Seattle Dragons roster for the XFL. So we're looking at an XFL player once again. And like I said, I'm trying to get a lot of coverage of XFL. I want to try and cover this as much as possible. So guys, bear with me while we're doing this. And we'll go ahead and give him a call. Let's give him a ring. And thanks for everybody who is joining us. And shout out Jeff's Basement and Kitsap Connection. Brock Miller, everybody. That's who we're talking to.
Hello, this is Brock.
Hey, Brock, how's it going? This is Nick.
Nick, how are you, man?
I'm doing
Thanks for having me.
fantastic. I'm really excited. We just had Kirk Barron, who's supposed to be the center on the roster, talk to us just a couple days ago. So I'm really excited to cover some of this XFL stuff. So thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
How was your day today?
Man, it was great. Can't complain. Just hit the weight room, did some recovery stuff, and just getting the body ready for mini camp and stuff coming up. So can't get here fast enough. I'm ready to roll now. But that's just kind of been my day in, day out routine. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. I've been trying to scramble around all day today, but now I got you. We're sitting down. We're having a conversation. I'm really excited about it.
Likewise, man. Let's do this thing.
So the mini camps start the 4th?
Yes.
Do you feel pretty prepared about it?
Yeah, I believe our travel day is the 3rd. I don't know a lot about what to expect, other than I'll just be ready to go. And then I just believe it's through to the 19th, and then we're back for the holidays, and then after the New Year, we'll be out in training camp. It's some central location, is what I've heard. So pretty excited.
Anybody who has just joined us, we're joined by Brock Miller. He is currently on the XFL Seattle Dragons roster as their punter. He spent a little time in the NFL. You got to punt a few for the Rams, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me about a little bit of what you got from your time with the Rams?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was signed just about a week and a half before week 1 of the preseason. So they were still in training camp. This team's coordinator had worked me out in the past, and said I was going to come in and essentially, give Johnny Hecker a break, so that he can go into the season fresh. But I was extremely thankful for that because I hadn't up to this point ever played in the preseason. I had tons of workouts with teams, mini camps, practice squads, things like that. So I needed that film, of essentially playing in a professional game. And to get it with the Rams, which is, pretty much a hometown team for me. I'm in San Diego now. The Chargers are gone. So call the Rams a hometown team. And to learn from, arguably the best punter in the NFL right now, Johnny Hecker, for 4.5 weeks, was awesome. And then to top it all off, I felt I had 4 really, really good games back to back to back to back, and super thankful for that. And I think that's part of the reason why Seattle wanted to draft me and give me a chance in the XFL. So awesome experience though overall.
Yeah, I saw that they were trying to get Johnny a little bit of a break. Can you tell us what did you learn most from him, or maybe just being on the Rams just in general?
Yeah, from Johnny and Greg Zerline, the kicker, along with Jake McQuaid, the long snapper, and even the special teams coach, John Fossil, I just learned what it really means, how to be a true pro. It's kind of hard for me to explain, what that means, but it's just kind of how you prepare week to week. You come in on a Monday and we have a game that Saturday or Sunday, just kind of how you prepare your weeks. The way you structure everything, the way you take care of your body, the things you do in the weight room, drills on the field, how often you kick. I really got to see 3 of the best specialists in the NFL, how they prepare week to week, and then sort of formulate that and structure that in a way that works well for me. And that was something I'd never had before. So that was huge. And then, just to punt alongside Pecker, one-on-one and really give myself something to, compare my skills to. That was huge confidence-wise. Saying, hey, I'm right there. I think that gave me a lot of confidence to say, hey, I belong in this league, and I can pretty much. I think there's another team out there who'll give me a shot to be their guy. I think it's just a matter of time. So both of those things, really thankful for confidence, and then just how to be a pro. Learning from the specialist there was invaluable. Really, it was awesome.
I like it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to have finished the 2012 season in your college career with the SUU record of 42.6 yards per punt as a career average?
It was pretty special, man. I don't know how much you know about Southern Utah University. It's kind of a smaller,
not much.
one AA school, but yeah, it was. It's a tough place to punt. We are at elevation, but kind of in the high desert up there in Southern Utah, and it gets really dang cold. It gets super windy, and it can make it, pretty hard to perform your best. And I'm from San Diego originally, so.
Oh, we lost him, but we'll get him back. Let's try and give him a second. Maybe he'll call us back real quick. But if anybody is not aware, we were talking to Brock Miller. He is a former punter from the Rams and a current XFL Seattle Dragons roster punter. Let's try and give him a call here again real quick. Sorry about that, guys.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
All right, we'll give him a second, see if he'll call us. But, yeah, I'm really excited for this XFL. I think it's going to be a great transition from what we wanted the AAF to be and what the NFL could be, as an extended season, or what we're looking for after the NFL. So I'm really excited to cover some of this XFL stuff, guys. It's super fantastic. I want to give it a chance.
Hello.
Hey,
my friend.
No, it's all good. I lost you there for a second. No worries, though. It's happened before.
Okay. I think I enabled Wi-Fi calling there, so I turned that off. Hopefully it's clear now. We can continue if that's not going to throw everything off.
No, man, I am used to dealing with stuff like that on the fly, so no worries about it. Let's just keep on rolling. We were talking about your time in Utah.
Yes, sir. Okay, that's right. Yeah, so I broke a couple records up there, and it was kind of tough to do because the weather in Southern Utah can be pretty brutal. November, December games, we don't have an indoor stadium or anything like that. So
Weather-wise, such as like, is it snowing or is it super windy?
it's usually both.
Okay.
So mainly the wind, though, more so than the cold. I used to joke with our kicker all the time. That's like, hey, we'd take wet and snow if it was dead calm over the howling winds that we got. But looking back now, I think I'm really blessed that I ended up going to that school, because I really think it made me a better punter. Being there for 4 years, and really learning how to work in the wind, work in the cold, and you just sort of add that to your tool bag of things that that make you a better player. So awesome experience out there as well, and yeah, I thought it made me better. So we don't get the elements here in San Diego to work with, so I had to use my college days for that, but it was great.
Do you just kind of learn on the fly, like Kentucky windage for this?
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of, as a young guy, just coming out of high school, going into college and trying to figure it out, you just sort of, it's just putting the time in, doing drills, working at practice on how the wind affects how you drop the ball and everything like that. And, time after time, month after month, doing it over and over, you just kind of figure out how to work with it and how to, put your best product out there given the conditions. And that's, I think, helped me, tremendously now. I've had a couple pro workouts in Chicago and Green Bay and things like that where, had I played at San Diego State, or where I wanted to go coming out of high school or something like that, I don't know, I don't know if I really would have been ready for things like that. So, yeah, just grinding it out and putting the time in those conditions, really, you learn to adapt and learn to make it work.
I like that. So
Yeah.
what drew you to the punter position? Did you know that that's what you wanted to do when you first started playing football?
That's a great question. A lot of kids start out playing Pop Warner or, tackle as a young kid. I never did. I actually grew up playing hockey longer than I played football. I had some older cousins that got me into hockey. But started playing flag football, elementary school and middle school and things like that. And I played receiver and defensive back. And, I was pretty fast, things like that. And then we were transitioning to high school, putting the pads on for the first time. And all my buddies, we were really excited to take the next step, hitting people, this and that. But I was kind of behind the ball as far as, maturing goes. I was still really small, really scrawny. I think even as a sophomore in high school, I was like about 120 pounds probably. So I was sort of worried of, shoot, I don't know if I want to take any hits. I was like, I could probably start kicking the ball and, still be with my buddies that play football and still be on the team. And sure enough, that's kind of just how it started. I was like, I want to be on the football team.
But I don't want to get hit.
I don't want to get killed. I'm too small. I gotta wait till I get bigger. So, my dad and I, we found an old kicking tee and we started. I originally started kicking field goals, and then punting and kicking just kind of goes hand in hand. And I really started to enjoy it. And I was like, man, this is something that I just thought about. And now I really want to work at this and see if I could maybe play on varsity one day, in high school, and then maybe go to college. And it's just kind of escalated from there as this journey I've been on is something that I still love doing.
Yeah, that actually transitions me well into my next question. You said that you were kicking field goals. I saw that you kicked field goals in college. Why did you transition to specifically punting?
That is a good question. I redshirted as a freshman in 2009, I believe, at Southern Utah, and always considered myself a kicker. In high school, you usually got a guy, you do both. You punt and kick, but I always considered myself more of a kicker. So redshirt year ends. I go into 2010. They have a punter kickoff specialist. It was a little shaky on field goals, and sure enough, I got the start week one. It was at University of Wyoming in Laramie, and I played a whole season of just doing place kicks. And I was like, man, this is great. I'm gonna have, the next guy was the punter kickoff guy was graduating. I was like, man, I think I'm gonna do everything and have a great career here. Well, they recruited a semi-pro soccer player who had never played football before. he came down from northern Utah, ended up becoming one of my best friends. And he was, to be honest, he was a much better kicker than I was, but he couldn't punt, strictly from soccer. And he ended up being a 2-time All-American, just freak athlete, really gifted. But he came, like I said, straight from soccer, and he couldn't punt. So just out of necessity of the team, the coach said, hey, he's going to be our kicker, but, we need somebody to punt. And at first I was a little bit discouraged because, I really enjoyed kicking, almost more than I enjoyed punting, I think. But looking back, the way God worked, the plan in my life was just amazing, because my punting constantly kept improving, whereas when I was kicking in college, I really wasn't getting a whole lot better at it. Kind of hit the ceiling there. New kid gets recruited, and then I start punting, and my performance just kind of went through the roof, and ultimately became a punter. And then being a lefty punter on top of that, I learned is really valuable. We had tons of muffs, tons of guys dropping balls all over the place when I was punting. I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. So
Yeah, so I was reading about left-footed punting and how it's so unorthodox. Why do you feel that it's so uncommon and so unorthodox, and guys have issues catching the ball because of that?
Yeah, so I've never returned punts personally, but I've talked to a lot of guys, who are used to seeing a right-footed spiral come off a righty's leg all the time, and they're used to seeing it one way. And essentially, somebody broke it down for me, and they basically said, when every time it comes off a lefty's foot, whatever the ball does, it's mirrored of what they're usually used to seeing. So if the ball doesn't turn over, it usually fades this way from a righty, and then it's the opposite for a lefty. And if it does turn over, it fades to the right for a righty, and then a left for a lefty. So, but if you're the one back there catching the ball, it's all backwards. So if you don't have time to prepare for that, it can really catch guys off guard.
I can imagine.
Anytime you can change the possession on a muff punt or something like that, especially in the NFL, games are so close that, I think it's a weapon to be left-footed. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased, but it makes a difference for sure.
I like that. I didn't even remotely think about the difference between right-footed and left-footed punters and how much of a difference that makes. So I really like the perspective on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was your most memorable punt in Utah, you would think?
Oh, that's a good one. Memorable punt. So my first, going back to, kicking field goals at first, my first college punt after making the transition from essentially kicker to punter was in 2012 as the starter against Utah State. It was really my first punt ever, and it was 72 yards. Just went over the guy's head and kept rolling. And so that one sticks out for sure. And then I ran a couple of fake punts. Those really stick out. I guess I didn't technically kick the ball, but had a fake punt that set up a game-winning field goal against University of Montana that same year. And then another one my senior year against South Alabama, where I just ran for a first down and then kicked the field goal to win the game by 1.
I like it.
And a division opponent that was a division above us. So those were cool. But obviously, the long punts really stick out that most. I remember that one, at Utah State, just sailing over the guy's head. That's a good feeling to see a guy turn around and have to back up to chase it.
Absolutely. I like that. So I did a little digging on your social media.
Awesome.
Tell us about the Punts for Pups program you recently were tweeting about.
Oh, yeah. I just so my first time signing an NFL contract with an NFL team was in 2017 with the San Francisco 49ers. And the punter there at the time was Bradley Pinion, and he's actually the punter for the Tampa Bay Bucks now. And I'm friends with him on social media, and I'm a huge dog lover, just like he is. Same with my wife, and I saw him post about the punts per pups. I believe that's every time he's got however many punts inside the 20 in a game, they pay for a shelter dog's adoption fees. And so that was something that I was like, hey, this is really cool. Tons of guys in the NFL have all different kinds of causes or charities or things that they're donating to or are passionate about. And that was just one that I saw recently from Bradley in Tampa, and I thought that was sort of cool.
I like that
idea.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you also said that the Rams have the best uniform in the league. Do you really believe that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were, my brother and I were raised Rams fans, but my dad was a LA Rams season ticket holder back in the 80s when they were originally there. And then when we were kids, watching the St. Louis Rams, in the Super Bowl against the Titans in '99 with Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
The greatest show on turf. Like that was so cool as a kid to watch that, because it was kind of like our family team. And then to essentially get to wear that uniform, even though it was just in the preseason, was just a dream come true. And again, I may be biased, but those throwbacks, the blue and yellow, it's tough to beat it. I think those are some of the best up there for sure.
Okay. All right. I got one more thing on your social media, and then we can get into talking about some XFL and some Seattle stuff. It was tweeted out that you were brought to the Rams right before the Super Bowl to prepare for Ryan Allen.
Yes.
What was that experience like for you to be part of helping them prepare for a Super Bowl?
That was, so that's funny. I've been asked about that before. Up until that point in 2018, I had several, I want to say maybe 9 or 10 teams do that, where they're playing a lefty on Sunday. Granted it wasn't Super Bowl Sunday, but they said, hey, we think you're one of the better left-footed guys out there. We want to bring you in and, kick to our returners so they can get a look at that lefty spiral. But then also, hey, it gives me a chance to get my name out on the workout wire and things like that. And that just so happened to be that the Rams wanted to do that before they went to Atlanta and play in the Super Bowl. And I had probably one of my best workouts ever, punting to JoJo Natson, the Rams returner, just to get him comfortable before, the Super Bowl and, on that big stage. So that was really, really cool. Regardless, it was pretty much just like any other workout, I'd say. We hit some balls left and right, and then the Australian rules, end over end balls, just to get him comfortable back there. But it was a great workout, and I think that's part of the reason why Coach Fossil, the special teams coordinator, gave me that chance to come in, even though it was the following year for this preseason and get some tape. So it was a great experience all around.
That's awesome. They really helped you out down there in Los Angeles, didn't they? That's awesome.
They sure did, yeah. And Coach Fossil's done that for some other guys in the past. He sort of compared me to Michael Pilardi, who is now the Carolina Panthers punter. We're similar height guys. He's a lefty, and Michael Pilardi got his start in St. Louis with the Rams in 2015. And credit to Coach Fossil. I mean, I owe him everything for giving me that opportunity, because it's opened so many doors just to have good preseason numbers now.
Yeah, that's
with
great.
The NFL team, and he said, hey, obviously, you're not going to have a career with us, but he said, I think you can play in this league, and I want to give you an opportunity to put on tape what you can do, and I was able to do just that. So that guy, he's a great man on and off the field, and it was best 4.5 weeks of my life, to be honest. It was great.
That's awesome. I like that.
It was a great thing for sure.
Did you have any punters that you idolized when you were growing up?
It's funny because it kind of goes back to when I was kicking in high school. I really wasn't watching the punters as much as I was watching the kickers, because I always considered myself a kicker first.
Right.
But going off of that, Robbie Gould is somebody that I watched a lot. He was in Chicago at the time when I was in high school. And then, funniest story about him was he was in 2017 when I signed with the San Francisco 49ers. That was his first year coming over from Chicago to kick for them. And so that really came full circle. That's
cool.
a weird thing how that worked out. It's like, here's a guy that I really, watched a lot on TV growing up, and now, I was holding for him, and he was my teammate, and we were in the locker room together every day. I was like, wow, this is surreal how things work out sometimes.
Yeah.
So he was probably the guy that I looked up to the most, when I was just a young kicker.
If anybody who has joined us doesn't know, we're talking to Brock Miller, former Rams punter, current punter on the XFL Seattle Dragons roster. Did you watch any of the XFL when it was introduced back in 2001?
So I was pretty young, so I really didn't. I remember hearing about it. I didn't watch it live or anything like that when I was growing up, when it was still around. But since it's been popping up, and I remember, even before I was drafted, when I was selected in the draft pool and things like that, I started doing some digging, and I wanted to look more about it because I'd remembered so much about it. I just hadn't seen anything, and you go straight to YouTube and they got everything you want. So
right.
I had to look up some of those old clips. But I'm excited for 2020 for the revamp to get rolling. It's going to be great.
With you have been a Rams fan as long as you have, do you have a little bittersweetness of being in Seattle? I know it's different leagues, but there's a little bit of a rivalry between the two teams.
Yeah, definitely. No, I did think about that. I don't really feel that way. What's funny too, another link there. I mean, that's where Johnny Hecker's from originally. Is Seattle, or I think he went to high school just outside of Seattle up there in Washington. And so I posted on social media, about getting drafted, and he reached out to me. He's like, man, that's awesome. He said, you're going to love the area. Let me know where you guys are going to be training. Let me know if you need anything, because I know all the great places up there. So,
cool.
Super excited about that. And yeah, nothing too crazy as far as rivalries go. And then another good friend of mine is Jason Myers, the kicker for Seahawks now.
Yeah.
We played against each other in San Diego back in high school. And he said the same thing. So it'll be cool. I can't wait to get up there and check it out. I've been to Seattle once growing up. I was like 12 or 13, so I don't remember a whole lot other than being up in the Space Needle. But I can't wait to get up there. I'm excited to stay West Coast and all that, being from San Diego. So no place I'd rather be. I think it's gonna be great.
Awesome. We're excited to have you up here, man.
Absolutely.
What is so have you done anything for the XFL, like working with any of the coaches yet, or any kind of workouts?
Not really. I just have texted and talked with assistant special teams coach a little bit, kind of some things he wants me to be working on. Sent him a couple film clips of my training lately, and he said, everything looks great. We'll just start working on everything, once you get up here. And then, I've talked with a couple of the players, obviously the long snapper. We exchanged information on Twitter just to kind of go over some niche special teams things, weird specialist stuff. But all that's going to, I think, get ironed out in December, and then obviously during training camp as we get closer to kickoff. So
Cool. What was your initial thought when you were selected by the Seattle Dragons during the draft?
It was a funny story actually on that day. After I was entered late into the draft pool, but I was still really hoping that.
What does that mean?
The draft pool, your agent gets you in, or they reach out. So I got the confirmation email saying, hey, you're now able to be drafted. If somebody wants to draft you, your name's in the hat, essentially. So I got that email pretty late. I think there was a lot of guys that had already been, the pool was pretty much filled up, but I was added into there. And then as we got closer to the draft date, my phone rang, and I essentially had a workout on the day of the draft with an NFL team. And I was like, oh man, this is great. Obviously I'm excited to go work out, but I don't want to miss a call or something that happens, if the XFL team wants to take me in the draft. And sure enough, that's what happened. So I missed the call and everything because I was flying. And essentially I landed, and my phone was I had a couple texts saying congratulations, and I went on Twitter and saw that the Dragons had picked me. So that's sort of how I found out. So unfortunately, I didn't get to talk to anybody off the bat because I was, in the air. But still a really cool experience overall, and was super excited to get the news.
Jim Zorn has an extensive resume, especially in Seattle. How do you feel about being coached by him and in Seattle, for that matter?
I think it's going to be great. I talked to my dad the day of getting drafted, and he said, I was a Rams fan as a kid, but he said, Jim Zorn was the man. He was like, my dad was telling me, he was my hero growing up, and especially, I think it's pretty cool. He's a lefty too, so maybe he's got a special place in his heart for me, guys like me doing things lefty. But I think it's going to be awesome. And then the fans too, I've never been to a Seahawks game up there or anything, but or a Sounders game, but it sounds like the fan base is going to be crazy no matter what. So that's another thing I'm really excited about is the fans and everything up there.
It's wild up here, man. They like their kicky sports.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, so I'm sure it'll be rocking. I think we'll have the best fans in the XFL, so that's more motivation right there.
What do you look forward to most being a member of the Seattle Dragons in their inaugural season?
That's a good question. It feels really special to know that they're taking the chance on me to be the guy for the 2020 kickoff. It's kind of goes down as history. Your name and that roster is going to be cemented into everything, and I'm just feel really proud to get that call and be the guy. But I'm ready to get to work. We haven't started or anything yet. Nothing's really been done. I'm just ready to get to work. But couldn't be happier about being a Dragon. I think it's awesome.
As I previously mentioned before, we were talking to one of the guys who are on the O-line. His name's Kirk. He mentioned that he doesn't have or he's got competition in his position. Do you know if you have any competition in the punter position?
I don't believe so. I know, Greg Joseph is, I think, strictly a kicker. But competition, I'm sure, at some point could be brought in. And if not, I'm still treating it like, I'm competing with somebody. I know nothing's, just because you're drafted, nothing's ever handed to you, at really any level these days.
Right.
And I've always kind of been the underdog. I mean, even going back to high school. So that's really all I know is, sort of coming from behind to be the guy. And
right.
Even though there's one punter on the roster right now being me, I'm still, approaching it like, I got to go win the job, because I know if you don't perform that, they'll get somebody else in there, just like the NFL, or, just like anything else. So I think that's important mentally for me to just, we're not kicking back, relaxing. It's, it's still putting in hard work to
absolutely
be the best.
I like
so,
that. Yeah. Awesome answer. All right, so feel free not to answer this one.
Okay.
It's not like super crazy, but do you perceive your opportunity with the Seattle Dragons as a chance to get more film on your play, or an opportunity, or such as like another opportunity to get back into the NFL, or is it a long-term situation for you?
I think everybody's goal is to, have a career in the NFL. But for me, it's never been about the money or the six figures or the fame. It's the true love of the game. And so I think, at least for me personally, I've just always loved kicking a ball. And if I can do it professionally, that's just a dream come true, regardless of the level. So I haven't thought about that too much. I just want to be the best punter that I can be for anybody that, wants me to do it for them. So I'm just excited for the season, and just sort of going to take it one day at a time. But I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was fantastic. Yeah. I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that.
No, that's a great question. Yeah.
And then I got a question in the comment section here just a second ago, and I actually really liked it. It said, have you ever tackled a returner?
I think I had one or two, on stats they go down as a tackle. but I'm pushing them out of bounds.
Okay.
I've never, fit anybody up and really, brought anybody down. But I guess that's a good thing, if you're hanging the ball up there.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
You don't want to have to do that, but I've yet to. Only thing cool that I've done really is, the 2 fakes that I ran. I think
cool.
They were both like 25-yard runs, but no tackles yet. Maybe this year. We'll see.
All right, awesome. So I don't really have too much else for you. I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your day and doing this.
Of course, no sweat.
And if any point you would like to talk to me again, I'll reach out. I'll keep in touch. I'd love to have you on the show again. Maybe even hopefully after a few games of the Seattle Dragons, you could tell us about how that's going.
You got it, man. That'd be excellent. Yeah, I got your number now and everything. So I'm looking forward to touching base in the future, and I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'll be rooting for you out there. Good luck.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it, my friend.
Take care.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Brock Miller, guys. Whew. I don't know why I still get really excited about that. I still get super, super excited when I get done with these interviews, man. It's awesome. Awesome. Brock Miller, punter, Seattle Dragons. Please, guys, let's support this league, man. I'm really excited for it. I want competition in the NFL, and I want these guys to, get film on them to be able to play in the NFL or whatever. Just get them some jobs, let them play. Let's get some more football other than a terrible league like the AAF. And, there's a lot of people out there that talk about issues with the NFL, but, I look at it as a long run. Now we have the NFL and now we have the XFL. When the NFL season's over, we still get more football, and that's great. So let's support this. Let's make sure the XFL sticks around for a while, guys. Let's support this. Let's support these guys. I'm Nick from Talk Interference Sports. That was Brock Miller, Seattle Dragons punter. Thank you so much for you guys' time. You guys take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow for our picks.